Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 14th season of Formula Virtual Racing. We have arrived at the Monaco Grand Prix for round 7 of this championship. Last time out we were in Portimao, the southern region of Portugal, and we saw Avesta claim his first victory of the season with Luke Davies and Dylan McClemens in behind for P2 and P3. I believe it's a pretty clear evening here in Monaco. We don't see any rain just yet, as we are starting to see the first people go out on track, that being Borbune here. I'm by myself today for the commentary, so it'll be a bit of a relaxing evening, but with a lot of chaos and a lot of drama still, of course, as it's the Monaco Grand Prix and everything can happen here. Mind you, I need to fix the audio here. It's still very loud. That's better. Okay. So you see Borbune starting his lap as first of many. And Legend as well, he's on the left. He's ahead of Borbune actually. Legend, of course, known as the man to have the most poles here around Monaco. He's claimed pole position 7 times previously in the 12 times we have been at this track. And there's only been one time where we haven't raced at this track. That's a little quiz for the people at home. I will give you the answer in about 10 seconds from now. If you can guess which season we haven't raced at Monaco, that's the answer to that question is season 8. The only season where we didn't race at Monaco was the 8th season of Formula Virtual Racing. But we're back again today, and of course it's a night race, an FVR Classic, this one. There's a lot of drama. We've seen many safety car bugs before, plenty of seasons where it was mostly just very boring from start to end, but recently that bug seems to have been fixed, and that promises a little bit more chaos and a better race. After the 15 minutes left in qualifying, we see Legend opening up everything here with a 1.82. Dylan McClemens goes to a 1.8.9, and we have Borbune on a 1.10.1, so big gaps to start off qualifying here. See who else is on a lap. Luke Davies has invalidated his first lap. Will he go for another run after this one? Perhaps he could. He's done at 12.7, so it wasn't really a great lap anyway, but Luke Davies seems to be going at it here. He will continue to make a run for that banker lap here. You see a yellow flag, that is Niels Hardel here. Just making way for someone on a quick lap. That was Avesta Gobadi, that isn't Avesta Gobadi now. He has decided to abort the lap here, come into the pits. We see Callum Birch go into P2 there on a 1.8.7. Qualifying, of course, very important around here. It's really not easy to overtake, if there's going to be any overtakes at all. Mostly will be, of course, the pits, the strategy game here. If we see any rain in the race, of course, that's going to play a big part in this 7th round of the season. Close to the end here, but still plenty of things to fight for. Of course, Legend Rosenberg, he's claimed victory 5 times. He didn't score any points last time round, but I'm sure that won't hurt him too much. As Callum is going straight in the chicane here. Yeah, I reckon he will go into the pits. Niels Hardel on the lap. Nope, he has invalidated his lap. Maybe to get the feeling here a little bit, he will continue it, but we'll have to see, as we have Nathan Marriott now retiring. He has crashed into the wall there on the chicane, coming out of the tunnel in sector 2, that is, and Nathan Marriott out of qualifying. He will get a maximum of P7, but he's not put in too great of a lap there with a 13.4. So disappointing qualifying for Nathan already this early on. We see Matthew Copps leaving the session. That surely is an accident. Niels Hardel going for a lap here. You see Legend coming out of the pits for another lap here in qualifying. Callum, he is on a lap. He is 2.5 tenths down, but has invalidated his lap time. So this one won't count for Callum, and he will probably go into the pits. Yes, that is confirmed there. And we have Sam Faith, who is on a good lap, 1.9 seconds under his time. That's sad, but I doubt that's true. He doesn't seem to be pushing here. That's a good 5th spot there for Sam Faith so early on in the qualifying session here. Niels Hardel, he will come round to complete his lap, but again invalidated, so this one won't count either. Cam Doger, can he get a result here? Had a disappointing season. He's announced he's retiring at the end of this season. Of course, Cam, someone you should always keep an eye on. He puts in these great results every now and then. And he's going to a 109.7 here, which puts him right behind his teammate there on the 7th spot, as we have Avesta Gabadi retiring as well. He will start from the back here. That is a very shocking thing here. As we see Legend Rosenberg once again absolutely smashing it. He is 1.1 seconds clear from P2 here with a 107.6. Surely that will be pole position decided already. And he will claim his 8th here, but Legend Rosenberg, of course, in season 11 we saw him make a shock crash here in Monaco. He was comfortably leading the race, and then he decided to end his race. A rare mistake that was from Legend, but seems to be in form again here, and willing to take the victory once again this season, of course, as he's done many times before. Like I mentioned earlier, 5 wins this man has on his name on this track. Very well known with the circuit here. It's still, of course, a difficult circuit to come around, but Legend knows how to drive it, and sure, Callum knows how to drive it. He is out on his outlap here, so we have Dylan Clements on his lap. He is just up on his time here, but can he find a lot of time around the last sector here? That all seems very tidy there for Dylan Clements. Into the last turn here. Good traction is needed there, but Dylan Clements, where will he go? He will go to a 1.8.4, which will put him ahead of Callum Birch here with 3 tenths. So of course a big gap to P1, that is still 8 tenths, but good lap there from Dylan, which will put him into P2. Luke Davies, he seems to be going for another run here with 8 minutes to go here in qualifying. And Bob Yoon is on a lap as well. He's just a little bit up again with about a 10th here. Can he find some time in sector 3 as well, just as Dylan Clements did? He's invalidated his lap, and that will mean that this lap is in the end not going to be worth anything for Bob Yoon here. He will still go on and continue the run here instead of pulling into the pits, but that's unfortunate for Bob. See what Callum can make of it. He is 1 tenth down on his previous lap. As he has managed to invalidate his lap time as well. He was on a good run. But unfortunately, that is a lap cancelled there for Callum. Will he go into the pits? Of course, he has 7 minutes left still, but also plenty of fuel to go for another lap. So that's exactly what Callum will be doing here. Into turn 1, that seems very sharp turning there from Callum, but it's all clean. That's what matters most in the end. Luke is also on a lap. As we were saying earlier, he was going out. Seems like he set a purple second sector. I doubt that very much, but nonetheless, he is putting in a good lap here. That was a bit shaky there in sector 3. Where will he go? He was 1/10 down earlier. Can he get a good improvement? He can actually, 3/10 almost, which will still be 4th, but this has improved a lot on his time, so that will solidify his position maybe a little bit more. Bjorn's still going at it on the same run. He is coming through sector 1 there over the bump. Does he have enough fuel to complete the lap? That's a bit what the question is here. It seems like he knows what he's doing. Looked like a good first sector with that from Bjorn here. Don't tap the wall on the inside there. Many retirements have happened there. I myself, of course, have managed to hit the wall there as well. As Bjorn, he has a little bit of a slide there, and that's invalidating his lap once again. Of course, still 5 minutes to go, but that's just very unfortunate for Bjorn. He's trying to put in a good lap, and time after time he seems to be just going over the track limits. Of course, the track limits here most likely will be the wall, but there's a couple of turns where you can actually go over the line and still get your lap invalidated, which is exactly what's happened to Bohr these times, as we've seen. Morris Tumor, he hasn't managed to set a lap so far. Can he get in a banker lap time with 4 minutes to go before the end of qualifying? Just over 4 minutes to go, sorry. And then Niels Hardel as well in the lap. He's 3/10 down, but again, we found someone else who has invalidated his lap time once again, and that is Niels Hardel. This one won't count, but hopefully he can make another run happen. Legend Rosenberg, he has retired from qualifying. That's all on purpose, of course. He's done his 2 laps, he's happy with the result, and that's obviously going to be pole position for Legend Rosenberg unless someone manages to gain over 6/10. Looking to add Dylan McClemens' second position, of course. He's in a 108.1. And Callum Birch, he has managed to improve his lap time as well, going from a 108.7 to 108.2. So this fight for P2 here, the front row, could become quite hefty here in the last run. Of course, both of them are going out now to set 1 or 2 more laps. So we have just over 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes to go now. And Julius Gassner, he is on a 109.9. He's starting his lap as we speak. What's on board with Julius here? See a yellow flag, that is Sam Fate, but all seems to be good. We can continue, looks like. And Julius making it clean through the chicane after the tunnel there. Seems to be on a great lap here, 4.5 tenths down on his previous lap. That will put him to P8. Unless he can gain a little bit more time here, then he could potentially go up a little more than that. And he will go to a 109.4, and that is indeed P8 for Julius Gassner. Then we have Dylan Clemens, who has aborted his lap. Callum Birch seems to be doing another warm-up lap as well, as Luke Davies remains in the pits. He is going out now for one final shot at perhaps that pole position. Most likely it will only be front row, but at least he can have another go, unlike Nathan Merritt and Avesta Gavadi, who have retired early. Morris Stumer still trying to warm up his tires, it seems. He has just over a minute to go. One last run this would be for Morris Stumer if he can get it. Let's see who's coming across the line first. That is of course Morris Stumer, but that will be Sam Fate. He will manage to get another lap in, surely. Still 50 seconds left to come across the line here with just 2 turns to go. He went a little bit deep there, but that's fine. He can still continue his way here. And Sam Fate, he will start his last lap. Then we need to look further back, as we have Pierre Learn, who will also want to start his lap. And Julius Gassner, he has invalidated his lap, but this one wasn't really worth anything. He's going for another lap now, and then we need to look at the front here, because we have Dylan Clemens on the lap. He is 1:10 down on his previous lap time, and that will put him to a 1:08.1 still, but a little improvement there. Callum Birch, he doesn't seem to be improving here. 1/10 up on his recent time. Maybe he can gain a little bit in these last couple of turns here, as we've just seen a flag being waved, and Callum Birch, he has managed to improve a 10th there, but it won't be enough for the front row there. Can we see Luke Davies putting a good result here? He has managed to make up half a tenth here in sector 1. And Morris Stumer, he has gone to P9. Sam Fate, is he on a good lap? Not particularly. He seems to be 3/10 up on his previous time. Julius making some contact with the wall here, breaking very deep through the last couple of turns here. Oh, big slide there for Julius. I doubt he will improve on his lap time here. Can we see Cam Doger get some lap time out of here? 1.5 tenths down on his lap, and Luke Davies, he has bottled the lap. He is not getting an improvement here. He will come home in P4 unless Cam Doger can claim that 4th position. It doesn't look like he will, but he will improve, and that will put him to P8, right ahead of his teammate Borbjune there. That's qualifying here for the Monaco Grand Prix, a 39 lap race, which will be filled with pure chaos, I'm sure. So that's your qualifying order here. Legend Rosenberg with an ecstatic lap here with a 1:07.6, the only person to get into the 1:07s here, and he will claim his 8th pole position around Monaco here. Then we have Dylan McClemens in P2, Callum Birch in P3, Lightning Luke Davies in P4, Matthew Cobbs in P5, Sam Fate P6, Borbjune P7, Callum Doger P8, Julius Gassner in P9, and Morris Stumer, he rounds off the top 10 there, claiming 10th position ahead of the Monaco Grand Prix. It doesn't seem to be raining here, so it will just be a dry race unless we get some weather drama late on, but yeah, that's going to be the case. Just a couple of seconds until the lights go out, and then we will go racing for 39 laps of Monaco. Of course, the strategy will be to just save the tires as long as possible. Overtaking will be very hard to do here. Just navigating through the streets of Monaco here, that will be difficult enough, I'm sure. So we have just a few seconds to go here, I'm sure we do. Should be any moment now that we will start race. There we are. That's 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And the lights are out. We go racing. And Sam Fade has managed to pick up a drive-through penalty. Legend Rosenberg comes off the line clean. And we see Callum Birch making an overtake into turn 1. Dylan McClevins, he has hit the wall. He's picked up damage early. And Matthew Cobbs, he has promoted himself into P4, overtaking Luke Davies there. Let's actually see who has managed to gain a position, who has managed to lose a position. Sam Fade, despite having that drive-through penalty, he will lose a lot of positions. Who else is losing a lot of positions is Luke Davies. Saying earlier that he would probably cruise it to a P5, P6. He has managed to end his race early here, and we have a virtual safety car in lap 1. Luke Davies, he is retired after a great P2 last time round in Portimao. He has not managed to even finish 1 lap here. That is a shame for Luke Davies. Vesta Gubali, of course, he needs to come from the back. Race winner last time out. And he has a lot to do here if he wants to win the race. There's the possible race strategies, although I doubt that's going to be what the drivers have chosen for. Although it seems to be very accurate still. We have the top 2. They have both started on the medium. Maybe that has given Callum the advantage on the start there, claiming that second position ahead of Dylan McClevins. As we go green, and Callum Birch has managed to pick up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC there, exceeding the delta time. And I have no words for that actually. Callum is had a great start, taking that second position in the first turn here of this race, and now he seems to have thrown it all away, just like Luke Davies did. Although Callum is still driving, of course, he will have to serve that drive-through penalty, and then we have Luke Davies retiring. That is very unfortunate for Luke there. But a lot can happen still, and a lot will happen still. We see Julius Gassner, he has managed to pick up 1 position, just like, of course, sorry, they've picked up 2 positions. Borbune, Kandover and Julius Gassner, they will of course gain another position here, as Callum Birch will pull into the pits early here, serving the drive-through penalty. Same will go for Sam Fade here. He has of course picked up the drive-through penalty at the start, actually jumping at start, so not sure what happened there. He's probably just let the clutch go a little bit too early. And that's put him at the back here. Callum's still ahead of Avesta here. Avesta doesn't seem to have the pace. Or he's just not really showing what he's made of here in the early stages of the Monaco Grand Prix. These guys are going at it, as we see Cam Luger actually being ghosted, and there's Julius Gassner on his inside, just riding over the curb there, and he is still ahead of Niels Hardel behind him. But we have a train forming here. Where is Borbune? He seems to be a little bit ahead of his teammate. And could we see a podium finish from Matthew Cobbs here? That would be great. Borbune is lost the DRS to Matthew here. He's on 1.5 seconds here. I think the field will spread very quickly. Except for these guys, they will just all keep following each other. Nathan Marriott, of course, coming from that disappointing qualifying, he will need to make up a few positions to actually get a great result here. He's in P9 now, as we see someone go into the barrier, and that is Morris Stumer ending his race there early again. We see someone in the casino section there losing the car and going into the barrier, ending their race, and we have a safety car. You already see a 9-second gap there. That will be undone straight away here. Legend Rosenberg has found the pace early on. This is a chance for Dylan McClements to close that gap. So this all, of course, to let everything settle down a little bit. We only have 12 people remaining now, as we started with 14 people. So won't be too hard to get points here. Then McClements coming into the pits, changing his wing probably, as he has picked up damage earlier. As we saw on start there into turn 1, he was side by side with Callum Birch. He has tapped the wall, and that has given him wing damage, which will unfortunately put Dylan McClements at the back here, or at least close to the back. He will remain in 8th position unless Julius can overtake him here, which does indeed happen, or does it? Who gets it? I'm sorry, that is Vestigabadi, of course. Julius in P4, and we see Borbune on the podium. But as I said earlier, it's hardest thing to do here is, of course, managing to navigate through the circuit 39 times in a row without touching anything. There's only a handful of people who can manage to do that. It seems like we have lost 2 people early on here in the race. I'm sure next lap we will see the safety car come in. This lap actually. This lap it will be safety car in. I just got the news that we will have some weather drama in about 15 minutes from now. That could give us a little bit more of a spectacle here. And, there's of course not much to say at this stage of the race. We're very early on in the Monaco Grand Prix. There's not, well, there has been things that have happened, but so far it seems to all be quite chill. Of course, Luke Davies, he has crashed, and that it doesn't help him in the championship. He's had a difficult season so far. He got back into the rhythm last week with a 2nd place, but he hasn't won a race in some time. We see Vestigabadi managing to join the lobby once again after probably having some internet issues. As we see Sam Fate, he has given us a little bit more of drama here. He has managed to bin it under the safety car. As he sees the safety car in this lap, I'm not sure what will happen now, but we will have to look at the front as we will go racing again in lap 7 of 39. Legend Rosenberg taking it very easy here. Well, will he go? Does he have any connection with Niels Hardel here? Can he tell him when to go? Seems like he has gone, and he's called out Matthew Kops here in P2. Someone else who has called out someone else. That's not a great line of words, but Julius Gassner, he has managed to get a good restart here. So you see a wing flying there. I think that is Borbune's wing, but Julius Gassner, he has managed to promote himself into P3. Following him is Niels Hardel. He has managed to gain 7th place from the start until now. And then we see Dylan McClements on the inside there of Pierre Delerne, trying to get that 7th position, and we have another retirement. That is Vestigabadi into the wall. Or is it? I think he's just retired on track there as his car is still going. But Vesta has left the session. And we were left with only 10 after 7 laps. Guaranteed points, that is, for everyone who manages to complete the race from here. I would just take it very calmly here if I was Pierre. Pierre not being able to follow the pace here. We see a great overtake there from Callum Burge around the outside of Nathan Marriott. I'm sorry, that is Pierre Deleuran. But that's a good move there from Callum. Not sure if he tried to remain in a late position or if he actually made a move, but regardless of that, he's done well to get that 8th position. And will he go for a move here on the inside on Nathan Marriott here? Does look like it. Can Nathan Marriott stick it? Oh, they touch. They touch and they touch again, and that is just disgusting. And we see Callum Burge using the reset to track option, and that will grant him a 5-second penalty at the end of the race. But this is just well, there's not really any space to take that hairpin with 2 people side by side, and they figured it out. So I hope they won't do it again later on. We see Legend Rosenberg going at it once again. He's managed to get a 4-second gap in about 1 or 2 laps. As we see Callum Burge now getting 3-second penalty, that is. That's very early in the race, considering that the track limits is only the walls and just 2 parts where you can actually cut the track. Callum Burge has managed to pick up 3 seconds, and that is Nathan Marriott into the pits. Will he go for a wing change? Most likely, and the answer is yes, he will go for that wing change there. But it seems to be very close around here. It seems to be very close at the front. We see Borbune fighting Dylan McClemens here for P5. Will this all go smooth here? Or will we have another 2 people in the wall? No, it seems to be all clean through sector 1 and 2 there for Dylan McClemens and Borbune. That's a great move from Dylan McClemens, promoting him into P5, and the hunt for that podium position is on for Dylan McClemens. We see Niels Hardel pick up a 3-second penalty. Dylan McClemens seems to have a penalty as well. Is that 3 seconds? That is 3 seconds. So Dylan McClemens, he has picked up 3 seconds. Another 3 seconds for Callum Burge. I don't think he's keeping his concentration together here, Callum Burge. He has picked up 6 seconds this early on in the race, but he's trailing Pierre here, who doesn't seem to be able to follow the pace. And that is Callum Burge into the pits, retiring as well. That's a real shame, actually. But that puts an end to his race. Of course, that drive-through penalty really ruined things for him. Let's put him at the back, but it was a kind of a stupid and stupid mistake from Callum himself. Need, of course, mind your speed under the virtual safety car, and he clearly didn't do that. So that's a shame for him. But we see Julius Gassner still in that 3rd position. This camera is awful. So we'll just switch to the onboard here. Now we can switch back. Matthew Kops, he is really taking it easy here. He seems to be having plenty of pace, putting a 4-second gap between him and whatever is behind him. If he can just get a P2 here, that is of course a great result for Matthew. He would happily take that. And perhaps, of course, Legend Rosenberg, he could do something crazy. Will not mention what, but things could happen there. And still Monaco, regardless of who you are. And we know Legend is great, but he's done it in the past, so it means that he can do it again. But we won't. make a prediction on that. We will just see what happens here. Legend Rosenberg seems to be trailing quite easily here. 11 laps into the race. We of course had a rain warning earlier. That is already 4 laps ago. So I expect to see maybe some rain in 20. Sorry, lap 20, not 20 laps from now. Lap 20, so that will be 8 laps from now, as Legend Rosenberg has just came across the line to start the 12th lap here. Seems like the podium positions have managed to spread across the track quite a bit, but behind that there is still plenty of people who can literally smell the 3rd position here. Do we see Dylan McClemens going for a move there, maybe here on the inside? Does he stick it? Well, he does stick it, but that doesn't end well for him, and we see another 2 people go into the wall. We see Borbune getting a 3-second penalty here because he had to cut that chicane. That is just a very unfortunate way of things. It's a bit of chaos here. It seems like the drivers can't really respect each other's position on the track here. But Dylan McClemens, he's gone into P4, but he doesn't have a wing, so he will go into the pits soon, I'm sure, unless he can keep his pace together here. I think that it was Dylan to blame for the move. He shouldn't have gone for it on the inside there. He wasn't ahead at the apex, and perhaps that could see him get a penalty later on. Niels Hardel, of course, he is now in P8, only having Nathan Marriott behind him, who has gone for a wing change earlier on. So that's just really unfortunate for Niels. He was doing pretty well there in 4th position, but now he has managed to get himself into P8, and hopefully he can manage to close the gap to at least Pierre Delerne here, who doesn't seem to be able to follow the pace of anyone ahead here. Cal Noer, is he now finally catching up to the guys in front, and could he get himself into the mix here for that podium spot? Of course, he is the only one who doesn't have any penalties here. We have Dylan McClemens and Borbune. They both have a penalty. Dylan McClemens, of course, having a wing damage as well. That's going to play a big part there in the battle for P3. And we see Julius. He has managed to get a little bit of a gap here. Could we see Julius Gasner taking a first podium here? We saw him quite a while ago. He was very happy to claim his first points in Vegas. I believe that was season 10. Julius Gasner taking points there in that race for the first time. And looks like he's on track for a possible podium here. Of course, we only have 9 people left, but that doesn't take away. He's doing a great job. He's managing his own pace, and he's managing to bring the car around the lap every time. Once again, as we see Matthew Kops, as we were just talking about navigating through the circuit, as Julius Gasner was doing well enough here, we see, oh my god, that's just the commentator's curse there, I think. As we see both Matthew Kops and Julius Gasner pick up a 3-second penalty, and that's a real shame for both of them. Of course, it won't hurt Matthew Kops too much. At the moment, it won't hurt Julius, but in the end, that could play a big part. And of course, we still have that rain coming in later. Of course, the question is whether that rain is going to be heavily enough to actually do something, to actually get the drivers to switch to a possible inter or wet tire. That's we will have to see that later on. Everything seems to have settled down pretty much here at 15 laps into the race. We have these 4 guys being quite close here. for third position, but other than that it all seems to have spread a lot. It looks like we're doing an endurance race here, and in some ways that of course is very much true. It's 39 laps and arguably the longest race to do when you're doing any form of league racing in Formula 1, of course. We have these tracks like Saudi Arabia, Vegas. Those tracks, they are only short races, regardless of like the 25 laps. It's still, of course, a circuit where you go at very high speeds. This track is not so much on that spectrum. It's more down on the lower speed and the high downforce. Of course, as the walls are very close, and can tell you there is rain coming down, as we can see on the screen here. Legend Rosenberg perhaps being the first to come into the pits here, but he will probably skip it here as it's still of course very dry. It comes out of the sky here, the rain, and it will give the drivers a little bit more of a challenge, but so far it seems to be dry. Excuse me for that. It seems to be dry, and there's it's going to take at least 1 or 2 laps there before the track will get wet and before the drivers will have to make a switch to the Inter tire. Although we see Matthew Cobbs coming in for the Inter quite early here, and he is not the only one. We see Dylan McClemens in as well. We see Borbuni in as well. We see Cam Dover continuing his way. Of course, he couldn't actually pit, as he would have had to go for a double stack there, and that would have lost him quite a bit of time. Borbune actually going for a wing change here. He has managed to pick up some damage then. Surely that was with the incident between him and Dylan McClemens, who he is just came out right behind here. Dylan McClemens getting himself into 5th position, and now it's Julius Gassner who will have to decide on when to come into the pits. Now it is DRS disabled. That means we are dealing with a wet track here. So we see Julius hitting the inside there. Is Julius starting to lose focus after 17 laps in the Monaco Grand Prix? Please don't hit the inside of that wall. Thank you very much. Would have felt really bad there if that was the case, but Julius knows how to navigate the track, and there is the man that we don't see very often in this race. He is called Legend Rosenberg, and he has came in for the Inter tire. He now has a gap of over 30 seconds, meaning he can do whatever he wants, and he will just go on and cruise to victory here. Nothing exciting here for Legend. He is faster than everyone by like good amount. As a 30-second gap is actually a 15-second gap, but nonetheless that is still a big gap, and that is still Legend under control here. In control here, I should say. Legend in control of this race, and now there's quite a great gap between these three. But it's very close behind, as we see Borbune almost making a slide into the wall there at the casino section, but he has managed to keep it out of the wall. Seems like the conditions are actually very tricky, and we need to keep an eye on everyone here. Can they actually manage to navigate through the Straits of Monaco for another, what is it? It's 21 laps still to go. We're not even halfway yet. It's quite a difficult one for all of them. We see Niels Hardel still with a 3-second time penalty. We see plenty of people actually with a penalty, but it is what it is. And we see Nathan Marion, he has managed to catch up to Niels Hardel here, and can he make a move for P8? Of course, Nathan Merritt, he is currently in last place, but if he manages to overtake Niels Hardel here, that would still give him a little bit upgrade of in terms of amount of points that he would get in this race. Nathan Marriott, he is having quite a good season actually. With a couple of under the radar performances. Last time out in Portugal. Oh, that is too tiny of a gap there. Nathan Marriott, he has smashed into the wall. Has he picked up damage there? That is the question. That was Niels Hartle. I don't know if he had any space on the left, but if he did, he should have given it a little bit more to Nathan Marriott there. Seems to be all good there for Nathan. He doesn't seem to have any damage by the looks of it. So now we have actually managed to pass the halfway mark. We have 9 people left. As we were talking about Nathan Marriott, as he will probably go for the overtake here. That would be a spectacular one, but he stays behind. Nathan Marriott in P9 still. We will go up further up front a little bit as we see Julius. He has fallen down a little bit. He seems to be struggling under the rain as he has Cam Doger right behind him here with 4 tens. We were talking about Julius having the possibility to take that first podium here. Still all to play for, of course, but he seems to be struggling a lot here, having Cam Doger and Pierre Deleuran right behind him. Pierre, his car seems to have come alive a little bit more here, so he can actually manage to follow these guys ahead. Does Julius have any damage? It doesn't look like he does from the outside, although looks like his front left end plate there is missing. That could mean quite a reduction in the amount of downforce points there for Julius, which is of course very much needed around here. Let's go further up front. We see Dylan McClemens. He has managed to get quite a hole between himself and Borbune in P4. He has tapped the wall there, as we saw, but it seems to be all going great for him. Quite a comeback drive that is from Dylan McClemens. He fell down the order earlier, whereas Callum Bird, he couldn't make it. Dylan McClemens seems to be able to do that, and although it didn't all go very clean, he is driving in P3 at the moment with his teammate, at least for this race, in 2nd position. So this is a great points for Alpine, who do need those points very much for the championship. Mind you, with 21 laps to go, sorry, 21 laps in, we have the constructors title. There's a big gap between Mercedes and Williams in 2nd place. It's well, no points for Luke Davies here for Williams this race, surely, so they will probably lose that position, only being 2 points ahead of Alpine on 88 points, but Mercedes on 131 points. Legend Rosenberg, of course, going to claim what will be most likely 23 points here, perhaps 22 unless the track dries up later on, but it seems to be very wet now, as I think the raindrops are getting a little bit bigger, and that is maybe my question answered. Do the drivers want to go to the full wet tire? Yes, they do, as we see Julius Gasner coming in as first of possibly many. He will go to that full wet tire and he will drop himself into last place here, but perhaps this could be a great decision from Julius, or it could be a bad decision. Did we see him cut the pit exit line there? Believe you need to stay within the yellow line there with all 4 tires, but we'll leave that up to the stewards after the race. So far it seems to be all very calm. Drivers seem to be able to get round the circuit quite well. And as I was saying, we have Mercedes on 131 points. Andrew Rosenberg most likely to claim 23 this time round. And then we have Matthew Cobbs and Dylan McClements getting a good amount of points in here. That will actually be their best result this season if they manage to finish the race in this position. Another team that we need to look at here is Kick Sauber. They are in last place, but this 4th and 5th position could do a lot for them. They would actually come close to the fight for P5. We have Racing Bulls there on 50 points and Aston Martin in P4 on 68. This could be a great result for the Saubers here, but they would need to make it to the end, and we still have, of course, 16 laps to go, including this one, which is only the case for Legend Rosenberg here, as the rest is still on lap 23. That is Matthew Cobbs coming round the final turn here to start the 24th lap there, so gives you an idea of how big that gap actually is. We see Legend Rosenberg coming out of that first sector here, actually almost at the end of well, he's right in the middle of the second sector here, and we see Matthew Cobbs now just coming across that line for the end of sector 1 with his teammate behind him, of course. Is Dylan McClements closing that gap? That is the question. I think that question is having an answer, which is yes. We saw, of course, 15 seconds earlier as we have a yellow flag, and I believe that is Julius Gassner. He has hopefully not picked up any damage here, but he pulls into the pits once again, switching to that intermediate tire after giving the full wet a try. And looks like Julius will need to make a bit of a comeback here in this race. Looks like he's been lapped by Legend. Legend, of course, just at the end of sector 1 now, and we have Julius Gassner just coming around that first turn. So that is Julius who has been lapped. In case we see a safety car now, that would mean we have Julius filling up a gap between Matthew Cobbs and Legend Rosenberg, and unlapping himself would seem impossible there for Julius, so that's just very unfortunate for him. As we were saying earlier, we see Dylan McClements closing that gap. It was 4 seconds just a couple of, well, 1 minute ago actually, and now it seems to be 3.4, 3.3. Can Dylan McClements go for that second position, overtaking his teammate? I hope they can keep it clean, because they are bringing in big points for the team. But I can see why Dylan McClements would try and make a move on his teammate. We should go to the championship here. That would put Dylan McClements into P2. Regardless of where he finishes today, he needs to pick up 4 points actually to overtake Luke, who is in P2 right now on 70 points. That is for Luke Davies. Dylan McClements, if he finishes in this position, he would go to 91 points. My maths are a little bit off. He would go to 80 points, but he would go up 1 place in the championship order. Looks like Legend will add another 23 points here, and that will put him to 134 points in round 7, and I think that could be the championship decided then the next week, or at least the next round, depending on how we plan to deal with, of course, the festive season just around the corner. Let's actually see what the gap would be. If Dylan McClemens goes to P2 here, he would claim 16 points, that is him on 82. Then we have 3 rounds left, and Legend Rosenberg would be on 134, and we have 3 times 23 left. That would be 69 points left for the last 2 races. So 134 minus those 82 of Dylan McClemens, that would mean there would be 52 point gap there. And that could mean that the championship could be decided in Great Britain around the Silverstone circuit there for round 8. That would be very early in a 10 race season. With even Legend Rosenberg missing 1 race. That was last week, but does look like he is still on track to get the championship once again, and that would mean Legend would go to a staggering amount of 6 titles, which is just an unbelievable amount. We have 11 laps to go. We see Dylan McClemens now actually starting to close that gap very much. He is now within 1 second from Matthew Copps, and can he make a move soon? Will Matthew Copps let him by? I doubt he will, but still, that could be the case. We haven't seen Matthew Copps on the podium so far in Formula Virtual Racing. Matthew Copps has hit the inside of that wall there. It seems like his car is still going in a straight line when he steers into a straight line. As now we see Dylan McClemens, he seems to be eager to take that second position. Pierre Delerne also 1 second behind Candover for 5th position there. That's a great recovery from Pierre. He didn't seem to have any pace earlier on in this race, but it looks like his car is coming alive there. With just over 10 laps to go. And Candover putting in a good race here. A steady race, we should say, as we see Matthew Copps making a big slide there. Dylan McClemens shortly looking to make that move, but he has held back and is waiting for the right time to make that move. Surely that could be into turn 1 here if he gets the traction. It looks like he's still very close on the back there of Matthew Copps. Yes, of course, this track is very much known for being hard to overtake. I need to say, we have now Pierre Delerne. He has retired from this race. As we were just talking about him, he was putting in a great result there, actually making a great recovery drive, having a lot of pace. He has put himself into the wall, and I don't think we can get any visual footage of it. But that is just very unfortunate for Pierre there. He's managed to survive 28, well, 27 point something laps around this track, but yeah, unfortunately that is the end for Pierre Delerne, and it seems to be getting much worse for the McLaren team. Nathan Marriott, he has picked up a drive-through penalty after that virtual safety car there that we had for a brief period, but that is unfortunate. Why am I clicking this? Let's actually see the penalties here. We have only Nathan Marriott on a drive-through penalty. So we have just under 10 laps to go here. Legend Rosenberg leading the race comfortably. He has a 35-second gap. It's just mental to think that he is doing all this. Meanwhile, on the inside this time he can make it clean. Dylan McClemens, he manages to overtake his teammate there without any contact, and that promotes him into second position. Now can he manage to drive away? I'm sure he can, because Matthew Kops, he really can't manage to follow the pace. Hitting the wall everywhere, every now and then actually. But that's already a second there between the both of them. And that is Dylan McClemens into that second position. Of course, Matthew Kops, if he could try and stay with Dylan, he could potentially still get that second position, as Dylan McClemens was involved in that incident with Niels Hardel earlier on. But that's stuff for after the race for the stewards. But just keep that in mind. There could be some seconds added to the race time of Dylan McClemens at the end of this one. We have Julius Kastner. He is being ghosted right ahead of Borbune here. Borbune, he is going to lap Julius here. And it seems like what was very promising for Julius at the start of this race, at the middle stage of this race, now seems to just be an objective of surviving till the end. So we have 9 laps to go. We see Legend Rosenberg once again completing the lap. Niels Hardel, he picks up another 3 seconds here, but that doesn't make any difference. We see Borbune now finally overtaking Julius under the blue flags. Now we get to the stage where it's just a matter of completing the last couple of laps. You do not want to crash right now. You've just done an incredibly long race. Even Legend Rosenberg seems to be struggling a little bit. He doesn't seem to have any grip there through the second sector. But he knows what he's dealing with. And so far he has put in a perfect performance here around Monaco. Once again, he would go to 6 victories here at the Monaco Grand Prix. Which is the highest of anyone. And the highest of anyone at any track as well. Of course, now it's shared between Legend Rosenberg at Monaco and Legend Rosenberg at Brazil. Both of them are on 5 race wins, but it will be 6 after this one, unless Legend decides to do some crazy things here at the closing stages of this race. If that is the case, then there could be still a championship fight for last couple of races there. Of course, need to keep in mind all drivers need to have their availability sorted if they want to go for a championship fight there. Then McClemens, he seems to be there every week. We saw Legend Rosenberg passing last week. He wasn't there, but he is there again today. But in case that does happen and Legend Rosenberg does crash and we see Dylan McClemens getting those 23 points in, then the gap. Woods Ring 2. I'll actually give you that information in a second. That gap, Woods Ring 2, 22 points, which is just one race win, and that could break open this championship fight in the late stages of the season. Really just ticking down the laps here with just over 6 laps to go. Of course, we have lost 6 people in this race. We started with 14, we are now with 8. But we should hand the medal to everyone that manages to complete this one, because it's been a difficult race. Of course, the dry conditions at the start, we saw some people struggling with the pace, and then once the rain came in, some people really managed to get things going. But we also saw it the other way around, actually, as we see a Kandoker now making a move on Borbune. Actually, what has happened there for Bor? He has gone into the pits for the full wet tire. He believes it's the time to go into the pits for this tire. I'm not sure why he's doing it. He only has 5 laps to go, and I think the Inters are still very well, perhaps the greatest tire to be on at the moment, or I doubt that is the wets, but we will see if Bor can close that gap to his teammate and regain that 4th position. We won't see any fastest lap attempts at the end of the race, as it's currently pouring down with loads of water, and the fastest lap set by Legend Rosenberg is a 1.10.0. At the moment we are seeing lap times which are well, let's actually look at Legend's lap times here. You can see the difference. He is currently setting 1.22, so that is 12.5 seconds every lap. That's we're not gonna get anywhere close to that 110, so we won't see any fastest lap attempts, and that is surely Legend Rosenberg claiming that one here. Earlier we saw Nathan pick up another 3 seconds, or should I say another. He has picked up his first couple of penalty seconds there. Now we see Julius adding another 3 to his list as well. He's on 6 seconds now, but that doesn't really make any difference for him at the end of this one. We need to look at the intervals here. Thank you very much. Let's actually look at the leader gap here, because then you can actually see what the gap is to Legend Rosenberg. I'm not sure why it's saying that Kandoker is more seconds behind him than Borbune is. Perhaps that is something to do with lapped or not lapped, but looks like that is a bug, so we'll just quickly switch over to the interval once again. And in just 3 laps time we will see Matthew Kops come round the final turn for the first time to get a podium position. And I hope I do not jinx it there, but it seems like Matthew Kops, despite his pace not being the best at the moment, he has lost 43 seconds to his teammate after that overtake earlier on. But looks like Matthew Kops has it under control here and will cruise to that 3rd position. Still we see Kandoker putting in a great performance, but actually it does look like the wets are working, because we see Borbune gaining very quickly on his teammate. He is only 1.3 seconds behind now, and he will be under 1 second after a few of these turns, which is as we speak right now. That is Borbune within 8 tenths, and he will quickly overtake his teammate to reclaim his 4th position here. Of course, that Driver of the Day award can only go to one man, and that would be the man who has practically lapped everyone here, as he is right behind Matthew Cobbs here. So, will we see only 2 people finishing on the same lap? Perhaps we will. Same lap as the leader, of course. We see, of course, these guys. They all finish on the same lap, but they will just do 1 or 2 laps less than the first 2. But I'm sure they don't mind that at all. They want to finish this one as soon as possible. And I just missed it, but it looks like Bor has successfully overtaken his teammate. That is into P4. I doubt he will manage to close that 11-second gap to Matthew Cobbs there, but Matthew Cobbs also on the new wet tire as well. So they're on equal tires, and surely they're on pretty much equal pace. But regardless of that, it looks like Legend Rosenberg is quicker on the 18th lap older tires. Which are pretty much slicks at this point, of course. After 21 laps you start to see the tires degrade quite a bit. We're actually on the last lap here. I missed that, but the last lap of this race, can Legend Rosenberg get the overtake done on Matthew Cobbs? It won't matter at all for the both of them. If I was Matthew, I would have just give up that position, but it doesn't really matter. If Matthew finishes the race behind Legend, he will get his 3rd position 1 lap earlier. If he finishes ahead, then he has 1 more parade lap, because there will be no one who can claim his position. But we are coming round for the final couple of turns. We are seeing an Alpine, but of course we are looking at the Mercedes. Legend Rosenberg, he will claim that 6th victory here in Monaco, and that is job done, you could say. Legend Rosenberg, a perfect race here. 10 out of 10 performance, that is, from qualifying to the race. He had a massive gap in qualifying. He took it very easy in the race, and no one really threatening him. We see Matthew Cobbs indeed losing that position in the end, but it doesn't matter. Matthew Cobbs will claim his first podium position there in P3. I'm sure he is very happy about that. Borbune has put in a great performance as well, claiming that 4th position, and so has Kandoger in 5th spot. Then we finally see Dylan McClements coming over that finish line. He will take the 2nd position here after 39 laps of this Monaco race. And then we need to look at the last 2 completing this one. Nils Hardel, he had a difficult race. He was in a good spot earlier on, but he got into contact. He is doing a little bit of a spin there, but it won't really matter. He has managed to get himself that 7th position, and now we see Julius Gasner coming round the final turn as the last of all of them hitting Nils Hardel there, but he will claim 8th position. Another great performance as well from Nathan Marriott. He has picked up 6th position, and there he is on the Driver of the Day award given by the game itself. But really, we only need to look at this man here. He has broken another record here. It's a record of himself. Most amount of victories at one track. That is 6 times he has done it at Monaco. And 8 pole positions as well for Legend Rosenberg around this track. He has done it once again. It was a difficult race with the rain, but he managed to complete it perfectly from start to end. So we will get the list one more time. Of course, Legend Rosenberg taking that victory, taking 23 points to the Mercedes team. Then we see a great result for Alpine, P2 and P3 for Dylan McClemens, P3 for Matthew Kops, getting his first podium here. Then we see Borbune and Can Doger, great result for Kik Sauber there. They will get P4 and P5. Then we see Nathan Merritt in P6, Nils Hardel P7 and Julius Gessner in P8. And everyone below that, they have not managed to see the end of the race. And that is very unfortunate for them. Unfortunately, we can't get any interviews in here, so that will be the end for it today. But let's say that was quite a chaotic one and very much an important one for the championship. Legend Rosenberg extending that gap to P2. Dylan McClemens, he has managed to get himself up into P2, taking that spot from Luke Davies. He has pulled quite a gap now on 82 points, that is. And Vestigobadi, of course, not scoring. Same goes for Tyler Davison and Juan Hernandez. They both didn't attend the race, but they don't lose out too many points to the guys ahead. Well, that is it, folks. Thanks for watching. This was a long one, but we will be back next time round for possibly the championship decider. Legend Rosenberg could take his 6th title there if he drives like he has today. We will see you then for the Silverstone Grand Prix, but for now, thanks for watching and till next time.